Joe,
What's up?
we got God. we got God.
It was a fun game though,
It
at
was a
least.
fantastic game. Oh, baby. Well, we got God. Dude, okay. To start this off, though, LeBron, that he was supposed to make that shot. Like he makes those shots. You know what I mean? Like when he put it up, I was just thinking to myself, dude, this is another thing that they're just gonna put on his Hall of Fame highlight reel. Like this is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Did you have
Yeah.
that feeling too when he?
Yeah, it was a fantastic shot. And overall, like he was hurt, but just a very fantastic game by LeBron James. He
Yep.
especially in the second half when he was in the game, which probably wasn't as often as the Lakers would have liked. I think the minutes restriction probably kept this game a little bit closer than it would have been otherwise.
Yeah.
But when LeBron was on the court, he completely dominated, and his stat line doesn't show it. He finished the game 7 of 17, 2 of 4 from 3, 22 points. But he just had complete control when he was out there. He was making all the right reads. He was finding cutters, whether that was Caruso. He found Kuzma a couple times, Anthony Davis under the basket. He really just controlled the tempo of the game when he was in particular, the lineups they went to in the second half with Anthony Davis at center, just put a lot of spacing on the floor. The Lakers, that's when they really started to run. That's when they really started to force turnovers, which obviously is the big storyline of this game, and what really shifted the momentum in the second half. But I think LeBron was responsible for quite a bit of that. And even though this will not go down as one of his better individual stat lines, just a very dominant performance tonight.
No, yeah. I 100% agree. What was striking, just mind-boggling to me was the fact that the starting five had 7 total shots made, 7 field goals in that first half, which is horrendous. But what I was thinking is what was scaring me for the majority of the game was the fact that the Warriors were only up, 13 at half, despite the Lakers shooting 30% from the field. That was what was concerning to me. You know what I mean?
Sure. And I think to credit the Warriors, a lot of that had to do with how well they were playing defense, especially
Right.
the wings. Like they treated like this like a playoff game. You could see the high intensity, like guys like Wiggins, Toscano Anderson, like Bazemore. They were flying around. They were wreaking havoc. Draymond Green, just a virtuoso performance from him on the defensive end tonight. He completely stifled Anthony Davis in that first half. In just an all-around massive first half for Draymond Green on the defensive end, and he was able to keep some of that going in the second half. He ended up being probably one of the bigger reasons this slipped away from the Warriors. But yeah, I think like you were talking about the Lakers, they shot a low percentage in the first half, but I think credit to the Warriors. Like they forced the Lakers to shoot that low percentage. It wasn't like they were missing wide open corner threes. Like no, the Warriors were forcing them to get into their half court sets. They were forcing guys like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Dennis Schroeder to drive to the basket and try to create offense. Then it worked for the Warriors. Like they were forcing the Lakers more peripheral players to beat them, and they weren't able to do that. And it really wasn't until the second half that LeBron kind of started to enforce his will. The first half, he was very passive. It kind of looked like the ankle was still bothering him. You almost worried if that was something that would keep up the entire game. Thankfully, it didn't. But
Right.
it was a very good defensive showing for Golden State, I thought, in the first half.
And then AD started knocking down his shots, and it's going to get tough, really tough, because he's just going to shoot over everybody, especially when he hit that 1-3 ball. It's like, oh my God. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's kind of a catch-22 because he can hit those shots.
Right.
And you like if Draymond would come out and contest those. But, I mean, if Draymond worried too much about Anthony Davis shooting threes, you would have lost all of the wonderful benefits Draymond gave the Warriors in the paint the entire game. And so you just kind of have to live with AD taking those.
Exactly. And you got to credit Alex Caruso, too. He basically carried them in that first half.
Yeah, like I was saying, the Warriors were running him off the line. They were keeping the ball out of LeBron's hands. Draymond Green almost single-handedly shut down Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis
Hmm.
took plenty of shots in the post, but tremendous defense by Draymond Green, and very few of them went in. So it was really up to the guys like Schroeder and Caldwell Pope and Caruso to drive and create pressure in the defense on their own. And Caruso was really the only one out of that
Right.
group who was able to do that effectively.
Yeah. I'm just so proud of our boy Jordan Poole. What strides has that man made in just a one single year? I want to look up. It wasn't even that
Yeah, and
long
I
ago.
mean
We were talking about pulling the plug on old
and
Jordan,
this
but
this wasn't his best game, to
no.
be sure. But yeah, he's had some good moments down the end of the season. I think he's going to be someone who they really are going to need more from in the playoffs, though, because
Yeah.
they cannot afford to get killed in the minutes when Stephen Curry is off the floor. Like you kind of saw that at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Steph went over for his normal rest. All of a sudden, the Lakers, what was it, a 8-0 run, 6-0 run? They really opened up a lead at that point in the game, and a
Hmm.
lot of it was because that's really when LeBron started to take control into his own hands. But also, like the Warriors, they just don't have any offense. And yeah, I was very confused by that. I guess we can talk about the fourth quarter. This is going a little bit out of order, but that was just, I did not understand the theory of that lineup. They started out the fourth quarter with, what was it? Poole, Wiggins, Draymond. They had Mulder out there, and then Toscano, I
Yeah.
think. Those were the five guys. That lineup just doesn't make sense. Draymond should never be on the floor without Steph Curry. The offense, the scheme with Draymond with the ball in his hands, like Poole can replicate some of what Curry does. But I just think Draymond, if you don't have Curry running off of screens and you don't have Curry to like run handoff plays for, I think Draymond's lack of shooting, just lack of any offensive skill, well, not skill, but lack of any offensive production just becomes too big a liability at that point. So I thought that lineup that Curry trotted out to start that quarter absolutely had no hope in this game. And
Yeah.
he quickly realized that, called a timeout 2 minutes into the fourth, got Steph back in. That's really when the Warriors, they obviously trimmed that 6-point lead the Lakers had opened up, and it became a game from that point on. But
Right.
I think that was a pretty big tactical mistake by Kerr.
Yeah, you could definitely tell like the physicality different or just size wise whenever Kevon wasn't on the floor, even though Draymond did a really good job against AD and stuff. It was just I don't want to say overwhelming. I mean, it kind of was low key at times. I don't know. It just
I
seemed
mean, yeah, I kind of say the game went in the opposite direction though, because like the Lakers, they completely benched Andre Drummond in the
yeah,
second
that's
half,
true.
and like it was really the lineups, like when the Lakers had lineups that were like bigger and more physically dominant, and they had guys like Drummond. Well, yeah, Drummond. Harrell played for like 3 minutes.
Right.
How much did Harrell play? Harrell played for 9 minutes actually. So yeah, it was really those lineups though, with those like traditional big men on the floor. That's really when the Warriors kind of made hay. And then it was really when the size was more even, and it was Draymond at center versus Anthony Davis at center for the Lakers. That's when the Lakers were really able to actually have spacing on offense and start running the court a little bit more.
Right. It's just so tough because we caught the Lakers. I mean, granted, they haven't been the best as of late, but still, like when a team's not shooting good, you have, bruh. I'm just so frustrated right now because so many guys had not good nights, and you have to take advantage of that, especially when I like the Suns matchup a lot better than a potential matchup with the Jazz, and I'm scared of the Grizzlies
Oh
because
yeah, yeah. I think you would have to say that this probably makes it pretty unlikely that the Warriors win a playoff series. I know we were talking earlier today, and I actually think if the Warriors had won this game, I don't think it would be too far fetched to say they make the conference finals,
right,
because I don't know if I would favor them against the Suns, but that's certainly a winnable series for the Warriors. We've seen them beat the Suns a couple times this season,
right,
especially recently. So I think you could give them a chance in that. And then from there on out, you have to play either Denver or Portland. Like that's another winnable series. Like if they had won tonight, I don't think conference finals were off the table, but yeah, if they beat the Grizzlies, it's just very hard to see them getting past the Jazz.
Dude,
and we'll talk about that more later.
The Grizzlies is going to be a tough game. Like I'm scared. I'm genuinely nervous. Who are you favoring in that matchup?
Oh, the Warriors. I think the Warriors will I don't think that game will be particularly close.
You don't think it'll be close?
No.
Really? I mean, we have it at home. It's chill. Play on Friday, right? But I'm nervous because they have a bad taste in their mouth, dude.
Yeah. So do you want to go through this game sort of in chronological order?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just talk about some more of the finer points. The thing I was really looking out for at first is what sort of shots Steph was going to be able to get in the flow of the offense. Because my hypothesis going into watching the game, I thought that the Lakers, they're a veteran team. Like LeBron James, Anthony Davis are both very savvy defensive players. Mm-hmm. I didn't think they'd let Curry come off of pin downs or come off of back cuts and get open threes. And
that one was filthy.
Yeah, and he did not get any open threes whatsoever. And credit to Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Alex Caruso. Both of those guys did really good jobs. And then just having Anthony Davis, having a switchable big man who can guard Draymond Green and really like both deny and then put pressure on handoffs, like that just makes things so much more difficult. And of course, like Stephen Curry is the greatest shooter on the planet. So he is going to hit some shots in isolation. But I think you live with that because I think he had a great shooting night. He was 6 of 9. This was, by all accounts, a wonderful game for Stephen Curry, but they didn't let him get any easy baskets. Like when you could really feel the difference looking back to that game on Sunday against the Memphis Grizzlies, who are a very young, inexperienced team, one of the youngest teams in the NBA, and they just had no clue what to do with Steph Curry. They lost him in transition a couple times. He was completely like running, like Dylan Brooks did a fine job on him, but when it was D'Anthony Melton, God forbid Ja Morant got on Steph Curry, he was just kind of leaving him in his dust, and that did not happen with the Lakers. The Lakers played very smart defense. In the very few instances when Caldwell-Pope or Caruso lost him, Anthony Davis or LeBron James or even Wesley Matthews. Wesley Matthews did this a couple times. The guys nearest to Curry were able to recognize that there was a slight defensive breakdown and recover. And he made some very tough shots, but that's exactly what they were, tough shots. They prevented the low-hanging fruit, which I mean, that's just goes such a long way against the Warriors. Yeah,
it was basically Andrew Wiggins for that first portion of the first quarter, basically. It was Andrew, Kent, and Juan.
Yeah.
Kent's corner 3-ball, bro. The one word I use to describe Kent Bazemore's freaking just sporadic. Like some of the layups he throws up when he starts driving, it's the funniest thing ever.
Yep. Bazemore finished 3 of 5 from 3-point range and 3 of 10 from the field. So for those of you,
there you go. He loves that corner 3 from 2. Was Drake and Michael B. Jordan, were those the ones sitting in the corner over there? Because every time somebody hit a 3-ball, they were just like,
yeah,
I don't know, bro. But his buzzer beater, that was sick. That was one point where I was thinking, maybe we got this. But closing out games has low-key been tough. We have never, I mean.
Yeah, and so
it's so difficult.
There were 2 things that really led the Los Angeles Lakers to sort of take control of this game. Well, really 3. The first one would just be effort. Like LeBron James, I thought it was the ankle bothering him in the first half. Who knows what it was, but he just was not himself. He was passive on offense. It was really Dennis Schroeder running the show for large portions of the time. It was very much a game the Lakers played in the half court, which obviously anytime the Lakers play in the half court, that's a win for the Warriors because the Lakers are one of the best transition offenses in the league, and the Warriors have an incredible half-court defense. And so this game was very much stylistically exactly what the Warriors would have hoped for in the first half, and that's when they were really able to play well. But credit Frank Vogel. He made some good adjustments. The Lakers came out smaller in the second half, as you alluded to earlier. They brought in Anthony Davis at center. That opened up the spacing on offense, allowed for a bunch more cuts. That really got LeBron engaged as a passer, which kind of sparked the Lakers offense throughout that second half. And then it was really the Lakers defense. We talk about this on the program all the time, but it's really those feedback loops that the Lakers have fed off of throughout the LeBron James era, like getting stops on the defensive end that allow them to get out in transition. And boy, did that come to bear in the second half. The transition was really what swayed this game, and there were a variety of reasons for it. Most of them were kind of the Warriors' fault. Like the offense was started to get a little bit sloppy, but we can talk about some of those. What did you think of Draymond Green's second half offensively?
Dude, some of the passing decisions were just kind of sketchy, and there was just what at one point wasn't it 9 turnovers to 2 in the second half for the
Warriors. The Warriors turned the ball over on 20% of their possessions.
Brutal.
That's batshit. 1 out of every 5 possessions they turned the ball over. You are never going to be able to win a game turning the ball over that much, especially when you're playing against one of the best fast break teams in the league. So not only are you turning the ball over 1 out of every 5 times down the floor, but you're turning it over to a team that's going to make you pay almost every time in transition.
I know. Just big, dude. 20%, bro. That's insane. It was just because, there was a few where, Alex Caruso, there was that one possession where he played pretty good defense. He poked the ball out on Steph.
He got a few steals on Steph, and so did Caldwell Pope.
Mm-hmm. And then there was that one double team. I don't know if that was the second half, but they poked the ball out there, and then I think they got a bucket in transition. Yeah, there was just a lot of that the beginning portion of that third quarter is kind of just when they went on their run. That's when things started to collapse a little bit, but I almost saw it coming though, because you know that the Lakers aren't going to shoot 30% for an entire game, because eventually AD is going to get rolling. LeBron is going to get rolling. I don't know. Like LeBron, what do you think of Draymond when he stuck his freaking palm in LeBron's face, dude? Did you think that should have been a flagrant?
In my opinion, it's a flagrant because it's completely inadvertent by Draymond. Like by no means was he trying to was he trying to like hurt LeBron or do anything sketchy. But it's just such a dangerous play to like hit a guy in the face while he's going up for a dunk that even though it was completely unintentional, it's just like too dangerous to be a common foul, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know why. I wish Eric Pascal may have played. I don't know how big of a difference he would have made, honestly. I think Kevon does a really good job of getting offensive rebounds. Honestly, Kevon has been a massive. He's going to be such a big part going forward.
I think Pascal might have been drawing dead in this matchup. I think just the Warriors shot 57% at the rim this game, just not very good. The Lakers had it completely walled off for the most part, especially considering how much Draymond Green played too. And you might not expect those guys to play all of their minutes together, but I just don't really think there was enough spacing. And then the Lakers, they packed the paint so effectively that I just don't really think Eric Pascal would have really been able to do much. And then on the defensive end, it just like he's just such a lot. Like who would he have been guarding this game? Like he can't guard Anthony Davis. He can't guard LeBron James. And so from there on out, you're like looking like at a guard, like he has to guard like
I guess
Wesley
that's true.
Matthews, maybe.
It's probably the best that he didn't play.
Yeah.
But another thing that got us into trouble was getting into the freaking bonus with 9 minutes left in the third quarter. It's so like Mark Jackson said, it was just literally just a big recipe for disaster, just turnovers and then them getting to the line constantly.
Yeah, Warriors finished this game with 21 fouls as opposed to the 18 committed by the Los Angeles Lakers, but they They did seem to come at untimely and untimely moments in the game, especially some of those Draymond Green illegal screens down the stretch. The second one I didn't quite agree with. The first one was pretty
Dude,
ridiculous
yeah,
when he
that one
pitched
was
it
bad.
out. When he pitched it out to Jordan Poole in the corner, like you did your work, Draymond. You got Poole an open shot. Just get out of the way. Instead, he trips Anthony
Yeah.
Davis and gets called for an illegal screen. Just not a heads up play there by Draymond. And this game was the Draymond Green experience. You got a ton of brilliant defensive plays. He shut down Anthony Davis. He had some really nice help possessions on the rim, around the rim. The only reason LeBron James hit that deep three at the very end, in the final minute of the game, is because Draymond completely stopped Contavious Caldwell Pope from getting anything at the rim. Like
Right.
that was a very nice defensive play by Draymond. But on offense, he pretty much gave it all back. There were some stupid turnovers, a couple offensive fouls. They weren't guarding him. He missed. He finished 0 for 5 on field goal attempts, but missed some chip-ins around the cup too. That one where he posted up Caruso, got right underneath the basket, and then just blew the layup. Just a pretty atrocious offensive effort for Draymond Green, even by his standards, I think you'd have to say.
Yeah, dude. Do you think that the Lakers honestly do you think they can beat the Suns in a series?
Oh, I think.
Do you think they're going to?
I think I'll probably pick them.
Really?
Yeah.
I honestly did you see the Celtics blowing out the Wizards like they did?
No, I didn't see it a blowout. I probably would have picked the Celtics, but yeah, that was an impressive game.
I thought the Celtics were going to take that game. Okay, so what's the who's playing for the 8th seed in the East now?
In the East, it's the Wizards and Pacers.
Yeah, the Pacers are going to get in that 8th seed, dude. There was 2 blowouts on the East side too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with that.
The Celtics won that one. Wasn't really a blowout until like midway through the third, though.
Yeah. Well,
which I guess, yeah, that's pretty early in the game to.
Yeah. I thought we were gonna. Did you know how crappy of an episode Friday's gonna be if the Warriors lose to the Grizzlies? Somebody's not gonna be a happy camper, and that's for damn sure.
Should me and Shannon come over and watch the playing game with you?
Do you want to? You can.
Yeah, let's see what Shannon's up to. That would be fun.
Oh baby, I swear to God, if they lose, that's gonna be absolutely a miserable time for me.
I think the Warriors are gonna be killed. I don't think that's. I think you don't have much to worry about. I think the Warriors.
I think we do. I think it's gonna be closer than you think. I'm scared. I'm genuinely scared. In a series, I'm fine. I mean, how much do you think that this run? Do you think this run was obviously it was good for the Warriors going, what was it, 9-1 in May so far? But do you think it took a little wind out of their sails, or do you think it's good carrying that momentum into the postseason?
I would say it's good. Well, I mean, they might not make the playoffs if it wasn't for that run. So
I mean, I don't know. What was the Spurs final record at the end of the season?
Well, no, I mean not that they would have missed the play-in, but I mean they got the 8th seed by the skin of their teeth, and like the 8th seed is such a big advantage because you only have to win once to get into the playoffs. Whereas like if they had been the 9th or 10th seed, they would have had to win twice. Like that's a much harder task.
Yeah, I thought the Spurs were honestly going to beat the Grizzlies though.
Yeah, that was my prediction going into the game as well.
We're gonna see. This sucks. I'm actually it's kicking in like right after the game. I'm thinking, that was a great game. What are you gonna do? You can't do anything about one-eyed LeBron slinging one out there with however many seconds left on the clock. But
yeah, it sucks because I think the Warriors are still gonna make the playoffs. I think they're gonna beat the Grizzlies. But if they had won this game, like there's the conference finals would have very much been in play for Golden State. And I think you'd have trouble saying that now that they have to take on the Jazz and likely the Clippers or Mavericks.
I'm not scared of the Mavericks.
It's a tough road ahead.
It's Clips Maverick, dude. I can't. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be a good series. Is it? Is the Clippers and Mavericks?
Yeah, that's the 4-5.
Woo. That's trash to be a 4-5. Yeah, that's bad. That's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
I don't think the Mavericks are gonna make it. We'll talk about this later. But
Yes.
all right.
So we have one new series set in stone tonight, and that is Lakers Suns. That should be an interesting one.
I don't know if the Lakers got enough firepower, dude. They look like lethargic in that first quarter. And I don't know if you can do that against the Suns. They can make you pay.
Yeah. Hopefully the Lakers will look a little bit better by then. But yeah, it is a bit concerning. LeBron, he doesn't have as much explosiveness. He was still very good, but
yeah, Wiggins did a good job. So did JTA. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Wiggins actually had a good offensive game too.
Yeah.
When they were guarding him with Contavious Caldwell. Yeah, when he was being guarded by KCP, he was just dominating. It was funny. He had a couple possessions going against Wesley Matthews in the second half. Those weren't as successful for Andrew. But Wesley's a big guy. Like I feel like people underrate how like just strong he is, but he's massive.
Yeah. It was so funny when Draymond, he got the ball and was backing down Caruso. And then he didn't even finish at the rim, dude. I was like, what?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we talked about that play. He got right to the cup. It was a picture perfect post up, and then he just missed the layup.
Lame. But whatever. We're on Friday. Do both of the games play on Friday?
No, just the Western Conference.
Okay. We'll see you guys Friday. I'll see you Friday. Hopefully everything goes well.
That's gonna be one of the best episodes in all Gear No Game history. The first ever in-person episode.
First ever in-person, baby. Got this sucker right here. 4 inputs. Let's go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can we still do a Zoom call?
What's up?
Can we still do a Zoom call when it's in person?
Yeah.
Okay, because I think Wesley might come on just for the Blazer portion.
No, yeah. There's actually a way we can do that. Yeah, we can do Zoom call.
Nice.
And then there's a way we can do like a remote audio call while we're recording the Zoom, which is dope. I mean, yeah.
So you think it would work?
I think so. I think I can figure it out. Yes, sir. Cool. Okay. Thanks, Jonah.
All right. Yeah. Good night, Colin.
Bye.